This is the Round 2 podcast with Galen Parker and Stephanie Nicole, where we talk to big thinkers, big dreamers, and big idea havers. Quitting and failing are not the same thing, and we're going to show you why. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are back with the Round 2 podcast starring Stephanie Nicole. Stephanie Nicole, say hello to the people.
Hey, everybody.
Everybody. Stephanie, the streets are talking. I'm getting messages on Kik. I'm getting messages on WhatsApp. I'm getting messages on Signal. They're like, Galen, what was Stephanie up? Is she on a golf course? Who is she with? And I'm like, hey guys, I'm at home reading my Bible. I don't know what my sister is up to, but I did see. So Stephanie, how was your weekend?
My weekend was really good. I got my custom closet almost in. I painted and I played golf on Sunday with a wonderful teacher. My swing is so much better, y'all. Like, I'm out there now.
Keeps on swinging. So you're getting good at golf. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, I'm like the next Tiger Woods.
Or maybe the Tiger Woods is the next you.
Yes.
Tigress Woods. It's kind of like dangerous to say the next Tiger Woods because Tiger Woods got caught up with a little bit of something. So now it's like, I'm the next but just in this one aspect, the rest of it's kind of wow. So that's just a little bit. I'm a little tired. Like Tiger was out, but Tiger did the thing that rich people do and everybody tried. You know how that people don't really care because that went away so quick. Like Tiger was like, I slept with 450 women, cheated on my wife, and they're just like, oh, so how did you do on the Masters next year? Like people were just like, they did not care for real. They were just like, all right. So I was just like, that's how people you know. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you're out. I got my clubs in the car, so if you want to run it back,
no,
let me know.
I'm a professional.
Put money on it. You said that kind of strong. You got money on it?
I'm still a beginner.
She said, we can run it back. You put the LeBron shoulders on the thing. We can run it back. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a great show, but you are not going to benefit unless you do two things. One, you got to like, and the other two, you got to subscribe down below so that you can stay up to date with all of the gems that we are dropping. I feel like we are giving you so much good, powerful content. We're teaching you how to build a business, how to simplify your life, how to structure things so that you can make money, not just now, but passive income down the road. If you guys haven't watched yet, we're about to drop that Cheetah 3 episode where she talks to you about how to use credit cards to go on vacations. Capital One, if you haven't seen it yet, please sponsor Sheeta. She's doing the Lord's work for you guys. But for this episode, you know the name. You already know who it is. You'll probably recognize the voice. If you're in Richmond and you are listening to the hits, like I'm listening to the hits 106.5, you recognize our guest today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce Miss Lili Chanel.
Hey.
Thank you for being with us.
Of course, thank you guys for having me. My girl Stephanie.
Hey.
I love it, man. This is exciting because I was telling Stephanie last week, I'm like, this is interesting that you're bringing someone on the show who talks for a living around us two who we just talk so much. One of us more than the other.
Yeah.
Well, question. Real estate, I mean, there's a lot of communication involved in real estate too.
Yes, that's true.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes, and you guys have to be creative, which you are. So, I mean, I feel like you technically talk for a living too.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I've been telling people I talk for a living for years. I mean, real estate is generally just marketing. That's all it is. It's like the other stuff is just kind of like, that's just kind of like the paperwork. But really, it's like marketing the houses, marketing for your clients, meeting new people, trying to help them fall in love with their dream home. And then it's like, I was like, do you have money? And then you're like, yeah. I'm like, all right, then we write the offers. All that stuff is like the other part. But for the most part, you are correct. But I love this idea because, Lili, you've got some experience that's just going to be so intrinsically unique to you. Because likely we're not going to be able to bring on another radio personality, another person in broadcasting, another person who's got degrees and stuff like that. So to hear your voice, this is to me very special. So my very first question is this what you wanted to do as a kid? Is being on the radio? I mean, that's a big dream. Is that what you saw for yourself?
Yes, that's all I've ever been good at. Radio and TV, that's all I've ever wanted to do since I was 4. Yeah, there was a situation where the news actually came to my preschool and I
Shootout.
hopped in front of the camera ASAP.
It was
I
like a
was ready.
shootout at your preschool.
No, we were like one of the
Oh,
first
okay.
preschools in East Baltimore at the time. And they came by like, what's going on? Who are all these kids? And I'm like, me, let me tell you a little bit about us. Like, let me tell you what's going on here. You want a tour?
I would
That
love to
was
see that
it.
interview.
I have the video. My mom has it at home. Like I'm gonna have to post
No,
that
you
on
have
social
to.
media one day. Yes.
Don't worry, Stephanie will get you right. Stephanie's like the queen of social media. She guides me through this
Yes.
journey. She'll tell you what to post, when to post it, how to post it. That's awesome. I
All
don't
the
believe
analytics.
the statement you said about like that's the only thing you've ever been good at. I don't believe that.
Okay.
Ain't nobody
No,
believing
she good
that.
at some other stuff. You good at some stuff.
There
But
you go.
you're the best at hosting the radio
I
and
love how
hosting
you said that.
parties.
That was perfect. You put that perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfectly put. Chef's kiss.
Hosting
Yeah.
the radio and hosting parties.
I
Sounds
was just wondering, how do you get into radio, and how did you specifically get into radio? Like, what are the prerequisites?
So for radio, you just need to apply like any other job, but you also need to have what's called air checks. So air checks are basically like mock segments or mock what we call breaks, just talking points, like talking on the radio is similar to talking to a friend. So, you can be promoting an item or a brand or some sort of marketing element that your station, or if you don't work for anybody, create a marketing element. Listen to the radio and pretend like you work for a station. Listen to the contest that they have going on and say, hey, this is so and so, and I work for 1065 The Beat, and this is what we're doing today. And if you want to come and get you a free HVAC system, log on to 1065thebeat.com. Pretend as if you already work there if you don't. But you definitely need a couple air checks. That's the main thing that you're going to need because they want to know what you sound like. They want to get a taste of your personality. And that's pretty much it. You don't need experience per se, but you do need to know how to create an air check. So we were talking about, college earlier, off the record, but Mass Comm will teach you how to create an air check, but so will YouTube.
Mm,
Now, granted, if you decide that you want to go to school for mass communication, I don't recommend it, but go to school for marketing, but learn how to create an air check. That's something that you're going to want to do for sure.
okay. All
no,
right.
no.
I'm about to
You are
I'm about to get on YouTube.
you.
I'm about to be on I'm about to be
Okay,
looking up
y'all
air
create
checks
these
right
air
now.
checks. Okay.
Stephanie already knows I'd be atting the NBC 12 all the time when the weather and stuff. I'd be like, just doing my own little weather. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a storm passing through here in Central Virginia. Feel free to lock up some of the items around your home. Safeguard. We want to be cautious because there's danger out here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Galen Parker for
I
the
love
Instagram.
it.
I'd be atting them. And she's like, I know you're not adding NBC 12. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to put myself on the map. All of them.
Yeah, with news, it's a little bit different. So, Mass Comm, they teach you to pretty much how to be a news reporter. So, with the news, it's a little bit different. It's similar to an air check, but it's called oh my God, I can't even remember what it's called. It's basically like a reel. So, this is going to be like your mock stories that you create. Like let's say there's a fire downtown in Chaco Bottom with you standing in front of the fire reporting live. You know, this is what you're going to need.
Yo,
I
It's
always,
true. If you,
before you say Stephanie?
I could just imagine you going to find the fire and then going live from in front of that fire.
Start the fire, then find it. No. You know what's funny about like I think the difference between radio and television, I feel like anytime I've spoken to someone on the radio, when the mics go off, they still sound the same. Whereas with like television, they've got a specific television voice that makes me
yes.
laugh so much. They will be like, "Oh yeah, man, I need to get. I'm trying to get like a cheese biscuit." And they're like, "Oh, you're being served." Like, "Hey guys, this is Galen Parker here on Channel 12 News. So one of the things that we're worried about is the." And I'm like, "Who is this?" And they all sound the same. And it's like, especially like they're just like, and I'm like, this is Galen Parker for on your side. What about that? I'm like, man, that's wild. I was like, is that? I wonder if that's just like the generally accepted voice tone that all news people have. Like, this is how you sound.
That's it. But they don't teach you that. I think it's just something that they all adopt. Do you remember back in like the 50s how the old white guys used to sound like on radio? They all used to talk like this. It's like,
Ladies and
it's
gentlemen,
so weird.
I love it.
Yeah, that's it. You got it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember it was like I was like there was. I think at that time they had to. It was like less about the personality and it was more about just like being the voice that you trust. So they had to like establish like this. Like I'm the informative person. You can trust this voice, trust this information. Interesting that you said when it comes to college for people who are trying to, a lot of people who you guys are listening to this right now. You're probably driving to work and maybe you've never thought about whether you could be on the radio. I never thought I could. It's very few people can, so this is why it's awesome that we're talking to a legend right now. But you said no mass comm. That's maybe not no, but maybe it's not as necessary. Why is that? What? Tell us a little more about that, because I mean, college is
Because
expensive, so if you can kind of.
we live in the age of information. I mean, there's so much free information out here, and I just don't recommend spending 60 grand to learn how to be a radio or TV personality because we live in the age of TikTok, social media. I mean, it's not that hard to get your foot in the door these
Right.
days, when it comes to mass communications. So, marketing, I feel like, is the real key because you need to know how to sell yourself, how to, advertise your brand in order to get your foot in the door for people to see you. Because, I mean, we have to be honest. Nowadays, a TV or radio station will most likely hire someone who has a large following already because you're going to help support their brand and vice versa. So that's just how I think about it.
Okay, I think that is very. I have a question for you because Stephanie, we need your advice. Help us out here.
And Stephanie's smiling. It's your facial expressions for me.
Because he's hilarious.
Uh, she's like I don't know what he's about to say. But so you've interviewed, let's say, hundreds of people. Some of them are big personalities, extremely interesting, extremely entertaining. I'm sure there's been a scale where this person's maybe not so much. And I feel like we perhaps have what's some things that you can tell us? What can we do as we're trying to, because sometimes it's like we're just pulling. It's like tell me. I'm like, oh, how did you start your business? And they're just like, oh, I went online and I started the business. And it's just like, oh, okay. Well, what else? Like, what are some techniques that we can employ that kind of open a guest up?
So if it's someone who's not as well known, I like to try to see if they've done interviews before, even with bigger names. I always look to see like what your other interviews kind of look like. If these other people are pulling teeth, then I know what I'm dealing with. We can't change it. This is just your personality.
You're just
But
bored.
if it's a smaller name, if they haven't done anything, prior to my interview, I'll try to connect with them first and kind of build a rapport so that once you talk to me, it's not like talking to a stranger. Because you know how some people really take the term "don't talk to strangers" to heart.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I've
yeah,
I've never had that.
same,
I've never
same.
met a
I was
stranger.
always that kid. I was always that kid.
Yeah. I'm like, I made 8 new best friends on the bus today. But yeah, it's like my mom's like, we live in Queens, so please stop talking to strangers. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I told him our personal address if that's the problem.
I did. Yeah.
But but that does make sense. All right, so it's just kind of like building rapport because sometimes that's a challenge. What would you say makes the best guest for your show?
Someone like you guys, someone like people who are just people persons, like I love people who are familiar with conversation. Like communication is an art, but it's not difficult to talk. Just be yourself. Like I cannot stand when a person just, you come into an interview as if you don't want to do it or you're
Yeah.
nervous. So what was the point in asking to do it in the first place? But people who are just comfortable and willing to share, that is my best wish that I could request for a guest. That's all I ask for. I don't need too much now. I just need you to be willing to talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay, I
Okay,
like that.
what does your schedule look like as a radio host?
So Monday through Sunday, honestly, I'm on air 7 days a week. So 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Saturday, Sunday 12 to 4. But it can be long. Some days can be longer because you have meetings that you need to attend. Sometimes you need to, talk to your PD. You need to, make sure that things are flowing. Sometimes you have things called air checks with your PD, and he might tell you things that you need to improve on. So sometimes days can be longer than others for sure. But that's pretty much the gist of it all. Now, if you're a program director, your life never stops. That's a whole different story because you have label meetings and things of that nature. You have to listen to new music. Listen, radio becomes your entire life at that point.
So the songs that are played, do you get to pick those songs or are they already just in rotation?
So these, they're already in rotation. So you have records that are considered like gold records. Let's say, for example, at one point, Tommy Richmond "Million Dollar Baby" would be considered like a gold record. That record that you hear all the time, and you like, damn, how did I learn the lyrics in less than 24 hours? Well, that's thanks to that gold record on radio. So yeah, a lot of the songs are pre-picked from the Billboard Hot 100. Also, a lot of times, like some labels, if they have good relationships with program directors, they'll throw their music into rotation if they have like a artist that they're pushing at the time. And of course, they take requests, but your program director is the person who's responsible for that playlist.
Do you ever get tired of hearing it? Like, it's like I with like $1 Million Baby, I love that song. So like every time it came on, I was like, turn it up. But I can see
Yeah.
for you, it's like you hear it all the time. Do you ever get tired of like, oh, this again?
No, because here's the thing. By the time we get tired of music, because I feel like our tolerance and threshold is a little bit shorter than the average person. But the time we get tired of a song, the average listener is just now learning the lyrics.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I've been listening to his new song too. I'm like that his next song. I don't know the name of it.
No confidence. I
Yeah,
don't know
that
what the
one.
song is. Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
but I
listening. I
like
was
it.
like,
It's catchy. It
I was
gets
like,
the people going.
it gets the people going. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I was like, I forgot who it is. It's like one of those. Oh man, he has a pod. Joe Budden. Joe Budden's like hating on Tommy Richmond right now. Just like this, get this. I'm
Come
like, come
on.
on, man.
He's from VA. Show him love.
I
Come
know that's
on.
what I'm saying. I'm like, this man, like, I don't know if it's gonna last. I don't know if he's gonna be here next year, but I do know that these two songs made me feel great when I was in the car. So I'm like,
Yeah.
hey,
Give him.
But Mike Street made a point. What'd you say,
I said
Steph?
just give him his props.
yeah,
Period. Yeah, Mike Street made a point about like staying relevant in radio nowadays. All you need is a hit once every year. That's all.
oh yeah, for sure. I feel like that's the Chris Brown thing. Like Chris Brown, like every year he drops something, and you're just like, I forgive him. Let's play it again. Uh, it's funny how like music, just like, I forgive him. Get him back in here. It's like he got
Yeah.
another hit. It's like, get it, all right, just a little rascal. You little
I mean,
rascal.
hey,
Chris,
Give me.
if Rihanna forgave him, who are we? Who are we not to? You
I
know?
mean, she's doing ASAP. She's doing ASAP bad. She's back on top. He's on top. I mean, that's a power couple that I want to hang out with.
Facts.
Like
Facts. You
people are
know it's
like
a good
Jay-Z,
time.
Beyonce. I'm like, yes, of course, that's royalty. I was like, but for where I'm at in my life, I'm trying to like see what ASAP Rocky's getting down to. Like
Period.
that, I'm like, just this reread. I mean, anyways, so question for you. You mentioned gold record. I was reading something recently, and it was talking about like the nature of a hit song, and they use the example of Outkast "Hey Ya," and they were saying that like when you analyze that song, they knew it was going to be a hit, but when it first came out, it was just not a hit. It just did not do the numbers it was supposed to do, and they were kind of shocked. And then they started talking about like how they started placing it. They would place it like right behind another song that was already hit, so that people could get used to hearing it, and then people fell in love with it. Have you ever seen like something like that where you're like, man, this song should be way bigger, but it's just not doing what I thought it was going to do?
Not in radio, because the thing
Okay,
is, we make you like a song. That's what we are
that's true.
here for. Yeah, we are here to be the song into your brain and make you like this song. It's like, you're gonna love it. Like, that's it.
Keep listening.
Yes.
That's amazing. I love like stuff like that. I love just like the science, because I feel like there's obviously a science behind what you guys do about like understanding like the tempo, marketing, how people ingest, how people consume music, how people consume, because music to me is such an emotional thing where it's like it made me happy, it made me sad. I put the song on for this moment and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't have that same attachment to television. I don't get that's not the same vibes that I get. So shout out to the DJs and the VJs. What did you watch TRL when you were a kid? Do you remember that show?
Yes, yes. TRL was my show. TRL 106 in Park. Listen, your girl was on it, okay?
Okay, all
On
right.
it heavily. I actually tried out for 106 in Park. Do you guys remember when they were looking for new hosts?
yes.
Were they try who were
Yeah.
they trying to replace Free? Who were the
AJ
two?
and
It was
Free.
both of them at one time,
AJ and Free. Yeah,
Mhm.
Free. Whew, man, I thought it
and
was
I forgot
amazing.
who they.
There will never
And
be another.
somebody replaced them. It was Bow Wow and who?
Yeah. It was Bow Wow and somebody. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was Bow Wow and someone. Then they did Terrence J and Roxy.
Yeah, Yeah.
Terrence is all right.
There will never be another AJ and Free
Nah, I
again.
love
Like
the AJ
it
and
was just
Free.
an irreplaceable duo.
You could not tell me that 13-year-old Galen was not gonna marry Free. That was not like you couldn't tell me. I was like, that was just not. You couldn't tell me that. Do you remember when they used to do like the rap battles on 106 in Park?
Yes.
And then like
What?
Nick, I guess I don't know, like Nicholas F from Richmond was on there, and he like ran.
Mhm.
Man, that was so good because he went to my high school. That's my man. So we would be
What?
cutting up in school, then we graduated. Like I still keep up with him, but I was like, this is amazing. Like that kid to me is like a story of how I remember being in probably ninth grade, and he just started like getting into hip hop and rap. Like I think his dad, they moved from West Virginia to Richmond, and he has like a personality that is just like it's so unique. Like if you meet him, like you're just like this guy is on a. He's always been on a different level. So to see how he's kept through it, I mean, now what are we? We're in our 40s now. Like he kept to it, and he's still making records out there. So shout out to that. Shout out to 106 in Park. I'm glad you brought that up because that's a
Right.
good memory. They don't like
Yes, they need to run that back. Honestly, I'm just saying.
With you.
MTV, all that stuff's gone. We need Lili Chanel. I'm gonna start a hashtag.
Yeah.
Lili Chanel on 106 in Park.
Yeah.
Look, we all can do it together.
Great
We
man.
can
Hey,
be a trio.
listen, guys, I show up. I'm trying to be on all the maps. When I tell y'all, I'm gonna start adding 106 in Park as well too. Just telling me like what hits I like. Um, before this, what did you like? Was there ever something where you're just like, before? Obviously, when you're 4 years old, you're giving people tours through your school, so it's pretty clear that you're a big personality. But has there ever been a job that you thought I'm gonna do this instead?
Yeah, there was this one time I made the mistake of thinking that I wanted to be a nurse when I was 16 years old. And I joined the jump rope to stethoscope program at MTV.
What
And
the
it was a
what?
summer
Wait, wait,
jump rope
oh, wait.
to
Hey, you,
stethoscope. Yes.
you can't be like just the jump rope. Gee, don't skip over that. I was like, the what? The
Somebody was,
jump rope,
Yes.
yeah,
the
that
To
stethoscope.
stethoscope. Yes.
Who
It
made
was a
that name up?
program.
That's brilliant, but who made that up?
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
know if they still have the program. I know Karen Hill. She's one of the people who I think helped create the program. I don't know if she's still a nurse at MCV, but she was one of the pioneers
That's
of the
awesome.
program.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but
So what
they
happened?
put me in the mother. They put me in the mother infant unit. They assigned everyone their own units. One of my friends, Ashanti, she actually was a part of the labor and delivery unit. Thank goodness they didn't send me there. Okay, I probably would have died. But in the mother and infant unit, I watched a baby. Like I walked into a circumcision, like mid circumcision. I mean, the baby's, penis is wide open, like a blooming, like a blossomed flower. Okay, and this baby is not screaming, he's not crying, and they're like
He's in shock.
dipping this pacifier in some sort of like substance and giving it to the baby. I'm like, okay, what are y'all doing?
It's
Like
crack.
somebody needs to explain. And they're like, oh no, he has sugar water. And I'm like, okay, he can't feel that. And then they explain how the baby's nervous systems work. For like the first few years of their life, like their nervous system is not fully developed, which is why, have you ever seen like a 1 year old fall flat on their face and get right back up and keep running? It's because they can't feel the full impact.
I thought
Oh,
they were
I
drunk.
know that. That was a fun fact.
I thought it was drunk
Found that out.
babies.
Now, did that make me want to become a nurse? Absolutely not. But yeah, fun fact.
Man,
That's about it, though, Steph.
I would have been out the door like the Kool-Aid man if I walked in there and they had young little man's jaws just like one, it's wild that you just said like a blooming onion, which is like that is a mental picture I will never forget. But just that, man, I don't know how doctors do it. I was telling you guys before, I'm on Twitter, deep on Twitter, and the other day they had a video of a C-section birth, and I'm watching this thing happen, and I said to myself, two things, ladies and gentlemen, women, what is it about men that you would allow that to happen to you? Like, I don't understand. This is how I know there's a higher power, because ain't nobody evolving into this decision. This is some pre-programming. This is a pre-programmed channel. Because when I saw that, I was like, if it was the other way around, we would have been extinct long ago. Men would have been like, we just gotta die. They would have been like, no, this is what you do to give birth. We'd be like, no, this is not what you do to give birth. We are dead. And two, I'm like, how is the doctor was standing there and he cut with such ease in such calmness. He was like, and I'm like, what did you just, that's murder, first of all. But man, I was like, if you are, I understand why you do want to be a nurse. If you're listening to this and you're driving an MCV, give yourself a round of applause. All you nurses, doctors, medical professionals, first responders. I get technical when it comes to first responders because I
Right.
remember during COVID, everybody was a first responder. And I was like, listen, sir, cashier at 7-Eleven, you ain't a first, like, this is not who we talk about. Y'all remember that? Like, everyone started just grouping themselves in. They're like, oh, I am a first responder. I'm like, you are
Put
the greeter
that
at Walmart.
book.
Yeah, I was like, what? You put my groceries in a plastic bag does not make you a first responder. You are not like that's not what we talking about. But if you are, you know who you are. Shout out to you guys because I couldn't have done it. So you wanted to be a nurse for how long did that? So you were 16. What did you even make it to 17 or was it like 16 and you were
No,
like, nah, I'm out.
this was a few weeks during the summer, and my mind was made up that that was no longer
My
what I
mind's
wanted to
been
do.
telling me no. 70, did you have a job that you thought you were gonna hit it big with?
I thought I was going to be a ballerina for a while.
I can see that.
I know
What?
that's funny.
Do it. Why like what? That we need more black ballerinas, Stephanie. I'm mad that you. What did Dr. Life say? He was like, your decision not to do that just ruined someone else's life. You got to pursue. It's not too late.
I'm too heavy to be a
It's not.
ballerina.
Stop it. Stop it.
My
Have
toes
you
can't
and
hold all that.
you not on Instagram like I'm on Instagram. I've seen some big ballerinas now. See, I thought I was gonna be a ninja. So I don't know what the pay. I don't know what the 401k looks like for ninjas. But my mother was off the chain, but she was just like, I support you in everything you do, but that's not happening, baby. That's just not. We ain't going to Japan. I was like, I'm like, you're an artist. How are you telling me I can't pursue my dreams? So, all right, so you're a nurse. Stephanie is going to be a ballerina. I'm gonna make that happen. You're gonna be a golf playing black ballerina who has 1,000 rentals by the year 2035. Got it. One important thing that I think as we always keep these episodes to about 30 minutes, and we want to give people just a little bit of gem for them as they're pulling into the office building, as they're sliding into the parking garage. They've been cutting up with us for the past 26 minutes. They're loving it, but they're thinking, all right, give us something better. What can we do to pursue our dreams? What is some advice that you would give the next Lili Chanel or just anyone who's looking to pursue their dream?
Well, my first piece of advice would be to be realistic with yourself about what your capabilities are. Because some people believe that they can be, this grandiose figure, but if you don't have the personality for it, if you are shy around people, maybe that's not what's for you, Like sometimes people take that statement that you can be whatever you want to be or whatever you put your heart to heart, and that it's not true.
You
It's
can't be it.
not the truth.
We are not
You
Michael
can be
Jordan.
whatever you're
Looks
good
like I
at. Be
Everyone's not
whatever you're
LeBron.
good at.
Everyone's not
No.
LeBron. We're not Michael Jordan. This is like 3 weeks ago. Dr. Life was on the show. He was like, we all know that person who think they can sing, but they can't sing. And I thought I was like, I know that's right. Because these people, they just out here. Be realistic, ladies and gentlemen. That does not mean limit or humble yourself. But Stephanie sees it all the time. I see it. People come into the real estate industry and they're like, I want to be a real estate agent. I'm like, cool. They're like, I'm just shy and I don't like talking to people. I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
oh man, you're not gonna make it. I am like
I'm
literally
like,
introvert, but I have to put myself out there because it's you're not gonna make it.
you're
But
gonna fail.
what is your next piece of advice? You said it was your first
Give
piece.
us number two.
Yeah. So the second piece of advice would also be to fully make sure that you're able to research whatever it is that you want to do inside and out. Even while you're, once you land that job, still learn more. Like I need you to become a sponge, learn every aspect, even the parts that, aren't relevant to you. You want to learn the 360 view of what you have going on. Those are my two best pieces of advice that I can provide.
I
You
love
know,
that.
those are great pieces of advice, especially.
Do research and then continued education. Man, I'm so bad with names, but there was someone on Channel 12 News. He was a black anchor, and when they started asking him about like how he was basically said, I did every other job at this station. And I was like, man, he was like, I was getting people coffee, I was the cameraman, I was writing up the scripts, I was producing. He was like, and then this was like kind of like, and he was basically like their version of air checks. He was like, I was just bombing these things over to them nonstop, like late at night when they were shutting down. And he was like, I know I'm gonna make it. I just got to figure out. So that's awesome. Do full research, do a holistic 360 view, she said, and then continue
Yeah.
education.
Yeah, and get your foot in the door though. Like the anchor guy, Charlemagne the God has a book out called Black Privilege. His first book, Opportunity is what you create or what you make, something like that. But it one of the gems that he dropped in his book was that, it doesn't matter if you are the front desk worker, wherever you want to work, if there is not an opportunity available for the exact position that you want, take whatever's available within that company, because as long as you can get your foot in the door, as long as you can get in the building, you can, get to the office that you want to be in, but you need to be in that building first.
That is,
and kudos to the anchor, whoever he is. That was, yeah, he did the right thing for sure.
I think he moved out of Richmond, so he's just keep on moving up. But
Are you
that is,
talking about, is his name Anthony Harris?
I thought it was Anthony, but I don't know if Harris was the last name.
I want to say it's Anthony
It
Harris.
was
Maybe
very.
I'm wrong,
I
but
was
it's Anthony
inspired.
something.
I was very inspired because I was like, man, that's really smart. It was like that's a hustle mentality where it's just like, oh, if you don't want me to be the CEO, then don't hire me to check the mail because I'm a make it. It's like I just got to get in the door. I just got to. But I think all of us, Stephanie, you're a great testament of just kind of like just all you need is this much, and you're gonna transform it to this one. Same with Lili. I'm still trying to be a ninja, so maybe one day. Don't know where I got to. Maybe I'm gonna be out there. This has been very informative, and this has been a pleasure. We are so appreciative of Lili. You just given. I mean, you ran down your 7 days a week schedule, so the fact that you were able to make time in the evening just to hop on with us, we are very appreciative. Thank you so much for doing that. This has been
The
wonderful.
least I could do.
Nah,
Thank you for
man,
having me.
But
this is
tell
great.
everybody where they can find you at on social media.
Yes. So you can follow me on all social media at the Lili Chanel. Lili is Lili, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Stephanie, if they need to find you, where do they find you?
Stephanie Nicole RVA on everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, you already know the kid is at _Galen Parker on everything. This has been the Round 2 podcast. We are helping big thinkers, big idea havers, and big dreamers go from nothing to everything. We're starting with just baking the plan, and then we're helping you write the whole thing down so that you too can achieve your dreams. Thank you guys for listening, and we're out.